Today we are going to talk about one of the most important things in software development. Any software development is repositories. You should use it like Control S or autosave or anything like that because it's really useful and you can't get used to it soon enough. In this video, I will show you GitHub Desktop, how to set it up, how to use it. So let's get started. So this is where we left off last time, and now just set up the GitHub I was talking about. So I'm going to link this GitHub Desktop in the description. Now just download it for Windows or Mac. Once you installed it, then you will need to log into your GitHub account. Then we are going to create a repository. As you can see here, I have a load of repositories, but if you want a new one, then just create a new repository. And for the repository name, if you remember, I was talking about don't use any spaces, because if I type my first game, it's going to be named like my first game with dashes. So you can do that if you named your folder like that. So this is completely fine, but then your folder should be where this project is named like that. But if you don't use any spaces, then I will create it like without any dashes. I just usually copy the folder's name. And at the git ignore, we can select Unity. It will leave out something like this library folder. Unity doesn't need it to build your project, but it takes up loads of space. Right now it's 1.57 gigabyte and the whole project is 5.59. So most of the data is in this library, but this has been generated automatically. So if I delete this folder and open this project again, it will work just fine. So we don't need that. And this git ignore exactly says don't upload this library folder and some other meta files that you don't need. So I get the path is where my Unity project is, and just create repository. GitHub needs this git LFS or large file system. So just initialize git LFS. And yeah, that's it. It's basically created. Now, if you open this example script, right now there's my first line of code. If I change it to my second line of code and save it, obviously it's going to compile. And if we go to the GitHub, you can see this change. So right now you can commit it. Commit is basically like saving. So I commit it like a second line code. You can create a description. I changed the string and commit to main. Right now, if you go to the history, you can see, well, the initial commit is basically your whole project. It's automatically saved. And the second line of code, this is another history. What we just done is we changed from the first line of code to second line of code. So basically with this, you can see the whole history of a project. And one more thing, you can publish it to a repository. This is going to create an online backup at github.com. I think it's free up to 2 gigabytes. For an initial project, it's completely fine. And publish repository, and it just uploaded it. You can see it's fetched to origin. Right now I can't show it to you because I'm working alone, but if my coworker would do something and publish it to the online repository, then this fetch origin would change to pull. So I could download the changes to my own project and I could work in the latest version of the program. So what if you would start experimenting with a feature and you're not sure that feature is going to work? But there's something called branches, and you can create a new branch. Call it experimental feature. Create a branch, and now, and let's say you want to experiment with the third line of code. And going back to GitHub, obviously it's going to show it from second line to third. And I can commit to it, third line, whatever. Doesn't really matter now. Okay, but you realize it's not going to work and you just want to undo these. You're on the experimental feature. And if you just click back to main and go back to Unity, you're just going to reload the scene. And if you reload this example script, it's going to be my second line of code. So every change has been reverted. But what if you decided to have this change and you want to implement it in the main branch, so your main version of the Unity project, then just simply stay on the main branch and down here, choose branch to merge into main. And then select experimental feature and create a merge commit, and now push it to origin. And right now we are on the main branch. And if we go back to Unity and open it, this example script, my third line of code. And that's it, basically. If you want to, you can delete this branch, but it's nice to have a history of what you've done. So, but it's up to you. And yeah, you can delete it and nothing's going to change because you already merged it to main. So again, third line of code. So that's it for this video. And in the next one, we are finally going to do the movement system. So click here and see you in the next one.